What do we have here? 300 subscribers. Yeah, we reached 300 subscribers. I think that's pretty cool. What I have here is a Twosun knife. This is the Twosun TS215, I think. Got a little dirt on it. 215. Yeah, I think it's 215. Really beautiful knife. It's a Jelly Jerry design. Just super smooth. Thumb opening you can do. Drop shutty. Reverse flick is crazy nice. This is what I like, man. I like a knife like this. What do I like about it? Maybe the shape, how solid it feels, how smooth it is. Nice front flipper that I don't do very well, but I think anyone else who's good at front flipping would love this one. Just a really nice knife. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about was, we got 300 subs. Where is my little tiny channel going? Because 300 subs, you know, obviously that's pretty small compared to some of the big guys. What exactly are these 300 people subscribed to? I mean, are there really 300 subscribers? Maybe, you know, some people subscribed just goofing around and then they forgot. I imagine there's probably quite a few like that. So what are we talking about every day other than just, here's a knife, do you like it? I like it, it's cool. Why do I like the knives I like? Why do I like this knife more than this one? I don't like it a lot more than this one. I like this one too. This is a Firebird knife. What's better about this, or what's better about this one? Is it titanium? Yeah, a little bit. It's got prettier carbon fiber, right? This carbon fiber is kind of boring. Stop saying right. You sound like freaking metal complex. Why do I have so many knives? Why do I like knives? Why do I want to make a channel about knives? Why do I want to talk about knives all the time? My wife certainly doesn't want to hear me talking about knives all the time. That's for goddamn sure. I've had this YouTube channel for, I think like since 2011, maybe something like that. And it started out talking about knives. So now, I didn't do too much after that first few kind of goofing around videos talking about old, you know, some of the knives I had at the time were like survival type knives, tactical type things, you know, what we all start out with maybe. What did I really start out with? Like, when was your the first time you wanted a knife of some kind? I remember being a little kid, probably, let's say 7 or 8, something like that. And there was a little corner store down the road, and they were like literally old school. They almost seemed like, you know, Little House on the Prairie, old beat up white overpainted corner store. And we bought candy there and shit like that. And they had this little pocket knife that was like, man, I don't have anything like it. It was like a little, like a nail clipper type thing. I don't think it was a nail clipper, but it had that kind of feeling like a little tiny utility knife that you would have in your bathroom kit, like if you're going on vacation or something like that. And man, I thought that was going to be cool to have that, because then I'd have a knife. Because, you know, my parents weren't like, you know, here, 7-year-old, have a pocket knife. That really wasn't my parents' deal. So somehow I got my, like, you know, 99 cents together and got this knife. And man, I thought I was cool. And my buddies thought I was cool too. Whoa, Don's got a knife. He can, like, you know, cut sticks and stuff. And really, it was such a piece of crap that it didn't hardly cut anything. But it was cool to have, though. And, you know, if anyone ever attacked me, I'd have this little, I'd be able to stab them. So stupid, you know. But, you know, that was the beginning. I think I always liked knives. I always liked guns as a kid. Like, I didn't have a firearm until probably, I want to say 23, 24, something like that. But I always liked knives. I always had pocket knives or some kind of knife. And I think that's why I do this. It's like, it's fun to talk about. It's fun to hold these things. It's fun to see the mechanisms that make them work and why they're so cool, Well, why they're so cool is because they're made of cool things. They can do certain things. They can make cool noises, whatever. Let's see. I remember my first time going into Smoky Mountain Knife Works. If you haven't ever gone, I think it's in Tennessee, right? I'll make sure it's in Tennessee somewhere. Yeah, I think it is. This was before they had firearms, like many, many years ago. And I started seeing all these cool knives. They had all the stuff that I already liked, like hunting looking knives and tactical looking knives. They already had, that stuff. I knew about that stuff already, so that wasn't any surprise to me. But when I started seeing these prettier knives, like, what's that brand? Comorin. Like, they had these Comorin knives that were like pretty. They had like, this is not a Comorin, this is a Sativian, but it was like this, like, ooh, carbon fiber, ooh, pretty blade, for at affordable prices, I guess I knew that they were really high-end expensive knives, but I didn't know that you could get one for like, $35-40 that looked cool, Of course, they had, all the usual suspects, the Kershaws and the SOGs. And I think at that time I'd already, gotten into SOG, tactical military type knives, and like ones that look like they should be on a green berets pocket or something. Like this guy here. I can't really flip it. Dang it, come on. I'm going to try as hard as I can. Come on, flip it. Nope. Anyway, look at this guy. It's got a pocket clip that you press down, and it comes open. That is so innovative. Kind of useless, but really innovative, though. Of course, I already had a Buck 110. Not this one. This is a newer one, but I had an old beater Buck 110 like everyone else. What is this? Yeah, 110. And as a kid, I'd been given, this thing for Boy Scouts. I was never in Boy Scouts, but this is, I had knives like this for camping, supposedly. But I had them just to have a knife. Can I have a camping knife, Dad? Oh, yeah, sure, a camping knife. Carry it around just in case, alligators come out of the sewer and try to get me. I remember going to flea markets and getting these, fake Spyderco type knives. Man, Spyderco must have been around a long ass time. Because I remember as a kid seeing the fake Spyderco knives. That's kind of why Spyderco doesn't really look good to me. They look kind of cheap. Because when I think of Spyderco and I think of what they look like, I think of like, $10 flea market knives sitting on the back of someone's pickup truck. Kershaw was there at the Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Tactical, cool. I still love tactical knives. I'm not like, oh, tactical knives are stupid. No, shit, I'll buy tactical knives all day long. This is one of my favorite Kershaws here, the Tumbler. Very cool, super lightweight. I think it's, 2.5 ounces, something like that, super light. Put a little thumb stud, add a stud on there, and makes it super fidgety, flippity. Real good blade length for how long the knife is. I don't think it's any longer than 8 inches, but it's got like a 3.5 inch blade. Or I think it's under 8 inches, so it's, it's pushing the blade ratio up pretty high. Let's see. One Christmas, my wife got me a couple of nice knives, and I was so happy, man. It was probably, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. Got a CJRB, and man, I just loved the shape of this thing. It was like just an amazing shape. It's a little on the thin side, but the Scoria. I was like, damn, man, I'm in love with this thing. And carried that for a while. Loved it. Or still do. Still love the knife. It's a great knife. And the shape of it, you know, I recognize as being, that's how kind of a knife should look and feel, and the shape, that's the right shape, you know. And then like later when I would see a Hinderer, I would go, yeah, okay, that's why, you know, maybe I like this one. This one kind of has that Hinderer shape. But another great knife. I think that same Christmas I got a Boker. And I love that thing. It's tactical, but then also pretty. Look at that pretty carbon fiber, but then just kind of looks tactical and kind of, you know, mechanical and just neat. I think not too long after that, one of my friends started getting into higher end knives, and that kind of sucked me in further into looking at knives that were titanium and that kind of, you know, I didn't have Twosuns at the time. I had, you know, only stuff that was, you know, at best some kind of cheap carbon fiber G10 combo, you know. And then the titanium bug hit me, and I'm like, man, titanium, that's cool. I love titanium. I love it in other things. Got a hold of this Tuya knife in a trade, and I was like, whoa, that's what this titanium thing is about. It didn't look like this. It looked more gray. You know, I anodized this one and polished it up and put all these funky marks on it. And so, but picture this, but more like, it was just gray, you know, more like this. So picture it, you know, looking like this before I did all the, you know, modifying to it. So that was, I think, pretty sure that was my first titanium knife. Then I got a hold of a Comorin titanium knife, and I was like, man, that is the shit. These cheap, you know, Chinese titanium knives are just the way to go. And Twosun, found out about them, started looking at their stuff. CH, this was like, I had this for a long time when it was just bronze colored. Had that for a while, loved it. Then I finally put a quick stud on it and then sent it off to be anodized, and just love it now. Just amazing. Just a very cool knife. I think one of my first cool knives was a Kubey. I think it was like maybe 3-4 years ago. I saw this thing, you know, on Amazon or somewhere, and thought, that's kind of a neat shape. Now, you know, what a surprise. Kind of that similar shape again. What a surprise. Kind of that similar shape again, right? But the Kubey Nova, just a great, great knife. D2, that was like, you know, oh, D2, that's a cool thing. That's a steel that's maybe better than, you know, some other steels that I've had before, like AUS 8 or whatever, you know. So I think around that time too, I started modifying things. Like this Ruike was very flat-sided, just kind of ugly, too fat in the hand. Took the sander to this one and started, you know, grinding on it and making it, you know, look cooler. So there was that. Started modifying knives. CRKT, had quite a few CRKT. I still love this one a lot. This is the Advent Tac, and this one is like one of the first knives I had that sounded cool. So that's when I kind of noticed, you know, I really like it when knives sound cool. And I know, you know, I didn't invent that or come up with it or anything like that. And other people have known that for many years, that a pocket knife, you know, opening quickly and sounding cool is an interesting thing. So, but I just kind of noticed it on my own that, oh, I really like the sound of that. I started noticing all the cool, you know, Chinese brands, the Bestechs, with all their cool stuff. Definitely still love Bestech. Kaiser, of course. Tons of Kaisers I've had. This is one of my favorite. I think got this one quite a while back too. A couple of years at least. Z82. Great knife. Concept. Terrific stuff. This is a... what is this one? Concept. blah, blah, blah. Put it up here. Great knife. Oh, it's been modded quite a bit, though. It used to have a much bigger blade that came up here, and then the handle came up a lot higher. I think I have a video on this one, if I remember right. Wee knives. That's, you know, getting into a little higher end stuff. I mean, this one wasn't super expensive. It's a Thresher, Gavko. So Wee Knives was like the OEM on this one. Just a terrific knife for, you know, under 200 bucks, I think, mostly. Maybe even under 150 sometimes if you know, poke around and try to find one. This was my grail for a while. I really just loved the shape of it and the design. The Maxace Halictus. I wanted one for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. Searched around, found someone who had one for sale used and got a good deal on it. So I got it for under 200. That was, you know, I'd never spent over 200 bucks on a knife. Boy, I still rarely ever do. You know, even, I don't know, I don't think I have. Trying to think, have I spent more than 200 on a knife? Not me personally. Now, my wife has. My wife spent substantially more than 200 on a knife when she bought me just this past Christmas. My first, you know, what I would consider a high-end knife, a Hinderer. And man, I freaking love this thing. So however much that cost, it's over 200. But I didn't spend that money. The wife did. What a buttery smooth thing this is. Just ridiculous. So that's what I'm about. I'm about cool knives and talking about them and recommending ones so that people can maybe feel the same way about them that I do. And when they pick up something that only cost 80, 90, 100 bucks, but it feels like very much like something that should cost a lot more. I mean, these are very different knives, but made in different places. But damn, this Twosun has a similar feel in that it feels very high quality. Just feels solid and smooth. Just super nice. So, you know, that's it. That's why I have a channel, to talk about cool knives, to, you know, let people know when I find what I think is an excellent deal, say that, you know, you can get one of these for 150 bucks, a Gavko Thresher. It's crazy. It should cost more. You know, it should cost, I don't know, 300 bucks. That's what I think. Just so excellent. The craftsmanship is just ridiculous on it. The design work is ridiculous. The flippers are just amazing. The way everything ties together is just amazing. One of my favorite knives ever. So, I just wanted to let everyone know I really appreciate everyone who subscribes, everyone who comments. I love comments. Throw comments up there. Tell me what your first cool knife was and, you know, a little bit about your knife journey to wherever you are now, you know. So that's it. 300 subscribers. Very happy to have that. Have a nice day.